Welcome to SoCal Surf with Dan Nappy. Today at Newport Pier, it was big and ugly. Yesterday was perfect. Blue waters, blue skies, smooth water, no wind, great surf, awesome. Today was ugly, bumpy, windy, cold. It was bigger, but it wasn't any better. It was breaking way outside. It would crumble, and there'd be different waves coming in different directions. It was such a mess. You couldn't even see the waves forming. They would just look like a group of chop coming towards you. And then as it started to get closer to shore, it started to form. So you really couldn't see what was going to happen until it was right on top of you. So needless to say, it wasn't very good surfing. And the wind was blowing, which made it cold. So as soon as you had to get wet, you duck dive one wave, then that wind would blow on your face and your head and hands. They would just be freezing. So choppy, cold, windy, not good. Big, but it wasn't too hard. I mean, it wasn't real hollow and powerful. Occasionally one would get you and throw you over, but generally it was just mushy and choppy and hard to surf. There were some guys doing really well with it. For the most part, everybody else was just struggling. I was struggling. I caught one, and the leash was wrapped around my legs. I couldn't move. I made one bottom turn and tried to adjust, and I couldn't. And so I had to just kind of pull off straight and just kind of get out of there. But yesterday was so much better with the surf being smoother and the turns being so much smoother. So you never know what the ocean's going to do. Now, there's still apparently some confusion on how waves are formed. Because I was talking and someone said, well, don't you like the wind? Doesn't that make the waves? And I said, yes, when it's way out to sea, but not when it's right on top of you. So the further out into the ocean, thousands of miles, like 2,000 miles out into the ocean, a storm forms, winds come up and start blowing on the ocean, and that wind starts forming waves in the ocean, and they get together. And they get bigger as the wind continues. The harder and longer the winds are sustained, the bigger the wave's going to be when it gets to you. Now, if it's out in the Gulf of Alaska and they've got some pretty serious storms up there, that's where the really big waves get made. Or if it's a hurricane, or we get a few of those in the spring and fall sometimes, but spring, that comes out of the south towards the equator, and those big sustained winds will also cause the waves to get very big. But when the waves are right on top of you, like say it's the wind is blowing right now on your face, the waves are all choppy. They haven't had time to get together and form, and it hasn't had time to go a few thousand miles. And then as it goes over the ocean, they start to mellow out and they start to form just rolling waves in a sequence of 3 or 4 at a time. And then there's spaces in between them. The closer the waves are to you, the closer the wind is to you, it makes the waves choppy and coming from, a lot of waves at one time, like one after the other. There's no space in between them. And that's what makes it hard to surf. Plus, the wind is cold in the wintertime, so your body basically starts moving slower with the cold water on it. So that's why we say, the wind is good and when it's further out to sea, not so much when it's right on top of you. So that is how waves are formed. Some waves are formed by earthquakes, and some waves like tsunamis, and those are usually one or two waves at a time, and they come in really fast, and they come in and wipe out cities. So those are not the waves we're looking for. We're looking for the ones that are formed way out in the middle of the ocean and take time to get here. Those are the best formed and best shaped waves. So all in all, that's the ocean today. Cold, windy, choppy. Tomorrow, the sun's coming out, so that'll be 3 days in a row. I can't remember the last time that I surfed 3 days in a row. So if it's good tomorrow, that'll be a new record for the first of the year. It's already middle of February, and this is the first time we're getting some waves that are, in a row, like instead of rain one day and then maybe you get a couple of waves the next day, then no surf the next day, then 1 or 2 days the next week, and then no surf again. So it's been pretty intermittent. This is, like I said, the first time we've had a run of nice days in a row. So things are looking better here in Southern California, looking more like Southern California and not Seattle. All right, thanks for listening. We're going to check out now, but check out our sponsors, Merch Hero, NappyClothing.com, Swing Easy Hammocks, and Task Bullet. Thanks for listening.